Hello, I'm Lewis Gerald,
And I'm Sky.
and this segment is called Movie Madness. We were asked to research films that are coming out in May, and what we found were that the most anticipated films that are coming out in May are adaptations of already existing franchises.
Johnny Depp and Tim Burton are both back for a second stab at the series, while with Alice Through the Looking Glass, a sequel to the 2010 film Alice in Wonderland. However, this time the director Tim Burton is only serving as a producer. Mia Wasikowska, who recently acted in a more artsy projects like Only Lovers Left Alive, is returning as Alice, while legendary actor and part-time rocker Johnny Depp is again playing the role of Mad Hatter. Alice is a eccentric guide and the film's most reliable source of comic relief.
A majority of the cast of the first film are returning, including Burton's wife and most frequent collaborator, Helen Bonham Carter, and the Harry Potter co-star Alan Rickman as the Red Queen and the iconic Smoking Caterpillar, respectively. The British comic Matt Lucas is returning as both Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and Anne Hathaway, who recently took on Interstellar, is returning as the Wonderland's White Queen.
Michael Sheen and British Renaissance man Stephen Fry are also coming back to play two of the most iconic characters in fantasy fiction, the White Rabbit and the Cheshire Cat.
And possibly the weirdest cameo of an already weird series is the controversial actor Sacha Baron Cohen, who has really been pushing the boat out recently, starting with the appearance in the child fantasy film Hugo and continuing with roles of antagonist through the Looking Glass as time. A mechanical man who destroys Wonderland's most beautiful landscapes and imprisons the Hatter.
The trio of Burton, Depp and Carter have been making films together for over a decade, including The Corpse's Bride and Sweeney Todd. And this one really stands apart because this time they're letting in the British showrunner James Bobbin, whose first major production was his involvement in The Muppets Most Wanted. This film has more a antique feel, and the crew have been seen shooting on Gloucestershire docks and have gotten permission to film on board its more historic ships, specifically the Earl of Pembroke and the Kathleen May.
This film has a real sense of urgency and stake, building off the tone of the first film and diving further into the world. After escaping a sanctuary and being lured back to Wonderland, Alice can see that her fantasy world has been left in ruins, and what ensues a literal race against time to save the Mad Hatter and his people. You can find out what happens on May the 27th.
Elsewhere, Bryan Singer, director of The Usual Suspects and X-Men First Class, is bringing together one of the biggest gatherings of superheroes since his last run at the series, dissecting the most daring and iconic X-Men storylines. Since the Days of Future Past and that is the Rise of Apocalypse.
Most of the mainstay cast of First Class and Future Past are coming back, including Jennifer Lawrence, who has gained critical acclaim for The Hunger Games and Joy. James McAvoy, who recently starred alongside Daniel Radcliffe in Victor Frankenstein, and Michael Fassbender, who starred in the arguably darker series film such as Tarantino's war film Inglourious Basterds and 12 Years a Slave.
Returning from the first film, Rose Byrne as Moira McIntyre and Lucas Till as Havoc, who has occupied his time since his first appearance in First Class with roles in smaller productions like All Heroes Must Die.
This film, as with the last, introduced almost an overwhelming amount of new characters. Alexandra Shipp, who is better known actor who to be introduced, is going to be playing the Weather Witch Storm. Before she starred in this role, she previously starred in films such as Straight Outta Compton and The Princess of R&B, but this could be her first real challenge. Another cast member is Olivia Munn, who is going to be playing the classic femme fatale Psylocke. This could be considered her first major production, and it will be interesting to see the outcome.
Of the three, Ben Hardy, likely has the least experience on the big screen, with history as a soap actor and some experience in theatre. But like Olivia Munn, this is his first major film production. He'll be playing the role of both hero and villain Angel, for which he has trained in indoor skydiving.
The villains aside, Game of Thrones star Sophie Turner has been cast as Jean Grey and has received training in archery for the role.
Ty Sheridan, whose biggest credit to date is the factual Stanford Prison Experiment, who plays Cyclops in a younger, more aggressive approach to a stable character.
Nightcrawler, a fan favourite, is being portrayed a second time, this time by Cody Smith-McPhee, who is first come to attention when he played the unnamed protagonist's son in The Road. He will be a source of comic relief for this film, rather than lurking in the shadows as his character has done in previous films.
These three unique characters will likely push the limitations of film's visual trickery and push director Bryan Singer to his wits' end.
Finally, the most important role to fill, and one that no fan has been able to agree on since the character's inception, playing Apocalypse, is possibly the most experienced of the new additions, Oscar Isaac, whose credits include a role in Nicholas Winding Refn's film Drive and desperately hard up Llewyn Davis in the Coen Brothers Inside Llewyn Davis. If you're not a fan of Coen Brothers, then you've probably seen Isaacs in yet another sequel in 2016's Star Wars The Force Awakens, in which he played Poe Dameron, a possible replacement to the now past his prime Han Solo. Fans are divided.
Everyone on set seems to be getting along swimmingly, and everyone who considers himself an expert in film seems to at some point wax poetic about the chemistry between actors. So hopefully this does good for the film, as we hope the $234 million budget will.
For those in America, the film will be released on the 27th of May, which is where we have the advantage because we are going to be able to see the film as it is released in cinemas in the UK on the 18th of May.
Thank you for watching Movie Madness.